the Democrats getting a little cocky on this? I mean, there are more than 80 days left to go.
I think they are, certainly, because, as we've mentioned previously in this panel, that Hillary Clinton's voting base is going to be made up of minorities. They need minorities to turn out. They also need millennials to turn out. Those two groups are tailor-made for Trump's message because those two groups have suffered the most under this economy. They still face double-digit real unemployment. They have depressed wages. And Chicago, there have been more than 2,000 homicides.
I mean, there was the Times today, and again, you think the Times is, ridiculous as Trump does or not, but, they looked at what outreach the Trump campaign is doing to African Americans, and there were a lot of African American conservative groups who he hasn't reached out to, even pastors who, they had a meeting a long time ago, got a lot of press coverage, but going to a conservative African American church and making a speech, things like that, which is a traditional kind of retail politics, he's not doing.
And I think that's something that he needs to break into in these next 80 days.
You would like to see
yes, absolutely. We know that he has Mark Burns, a phenomenal African American pastor, and Daryl Scott, but he needs to go and reach out to this broader community and bring this message of the economy and safety. We know there have been more than 2,000 homicides in Chicago. That is startling. His message is tailor-made for these
But it was interesting, Tara, the Times used the example of him going to Detroit, basically flew in there, had a big rally in a largely white area, left without kind of going to any inner city area where he could have stopped in a barbershop or something different.
Yeah, there were many blown opportunities. A year ago, Donald Trump had an opportunity, I think, to get maybe 20% of the black vote because people know who he is, they respect him as a businessman, and I think that there hasn't been great economic growth. Actually, it's been horrible for Black America under Barack Obama in a number of areas. So I think they were right for it. Donald Trump blew that, and not only is he not going to get anywhere close to that, we saw the polling, it's 1%, maybe up to 3%, possibly. In Detroit, that would have been a perfect opportunity for him. There are plenty of black-owned businesses in Detroit, with Detroit trying to make a comeback that Donald Trump could have gone and used his business practices all the time to show why his business and free enterprise and empowerment zones and things like policies like that could be beneficial for the black community. Talk about school choice. He didn't do that, and not only that, he has given zero money to his National Diversity Council. He has no problem parading black faces out in front of him and pastors that want to get their faces on television. But the campaign has given no money whatsoever, no investment in that. Donald Trump had an opportunity.
最後の今もう一回立ち上げてね、つなごうとしてるんですけど、まあ今日なくてもやり方大体分かったので、もうちょっとワンステップ。何なのかな。これね、エアプレイヤーっていうのは出てこないんですよ。これも立ち上げ、できたね。できた。瞬間出てきたのに。また今この画面は出てるはずなんですけどね。でもいいよ。まだここを説明しなくてもね、割り方分かったので大体。そういうことができますというだけの説明でいいでしょう。ここで一旦抜きます。
She's going for those votes that are at Trump's base.
Why did you know? Eviction literally entered Biden's old home and was kind of around the kitchen with voters. And we all know that's not Hillary's best moment, but she's pushing herself.
She doesn't like to do those traditional kind of, it's big stadium events, which again, during primary, it obviously worked very well for him, and he seems most confident.
しかしこの薄くなる技術ってすごいね。もう軽くて軽くても素敵ですよね。感じるから。この大きさの方がむしろ感動に出して。
一応これはマレーシアとか。
The one I think you can buy this hotel. I'm just. I have. Good morning. Yesterday something so nice. So much. 井川さん、今日の朝僕はね、山内さんと前の久慈の市長と話したんです。すごく期待してくれてて、今は市長ではないんだけど、やっぱりものすごく期待してる。You take photo after.
No. We take photo all the time.
We just change the how did the kind of custom.
Not the van, the license.
Already the tool is like my phone. I think you.
Okay.
Backward. Johor. Yeah, and just make Singapore.
Yes, right. You did that?
No, I would say yes, but I just passed through. Because I visited first Singapore, and then it needed to come to Malacca. In the 2001 or 2002, so I just went through.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
More often.
We had a very successful conference in Malacca in year 2001. Yeah, and the elderly taking Dr. Alex, you are saying that the elderly person is giving some priority. No. Z っては、それはブランド名ですね。はい。
Everyone okay? So I will not switch on the air conditioner. You will try sauna. This is the first time.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I told you already. I feel like at home.
Oh,
yes,
that's good. That's
right,
good.
right.
Yeah, that's good.
So no.
1 second.
は機能してないです。
Okay, that's good.
I said this sauna is not working well.
You want to open the window?
No, sauna shouldn't have any wind.
Okay.
NHK の朝ドラってわかりますね。朝ドラマ、モーニングドラマ。あ、それなんかな。朝8時から15分間ね、すごいポピュラーなんですよ。わかりますよね。それでね、そうです。8時から。いや、違う、8時からちょうど。だと思うんです。今そういうこと言って。いや、かなり有名。で、あまちゃんっていう番組が、すごい有名でしょ。そこにソフトかスーパーが2年間置いてあったんです。ちょうど番組が進行中でものすごく思いつく、そのあまちゃんの舞台である岩手県に車を持ってきて、それでその市長さんがすごく気に入ってくれてね、それでソフトカーをそこでと思ってたんですけど、選挙で負けちゃったんです。そうです。今回というか2年前です。でも、そうです。あ、そうなんですか。 thing is that you said that I will analyze what I come to information. And my affiliation is the Philippine department of Philippine information. I will try to follow. You notice and that is most how to say the thankful thing for me because I tried to show this bag when I bought it and people could not notice it. No, you should notice it. Yeah, mixture of things, right? And the code is visualization. Yeah, because sometimes you can learn someone to use. Yeah, but you can learn by eyes, right? Yes, and interestingly is that we don't have to look at the light itself. I can think. When it turns to blue, then I feel blue. And when this part becomes, even though I don't see it directly, モデルが作ってる。
And now, with the now you just how you
However, in this terrible, but at the early stage, I was made to understand that from the year that I think it's good, that it is good. But for the proposal, administrative, we have to have one question. We will respect. Okay, I have a proposal. Looking at one Thank you. Using one institution as the coordinator. Yes. う I knew that interface between the machine and computer, man, will make trouble. And because the car sensors are too sensitive,
Yes.
right?
Yes. It will affect the decision making
Yep.
of the human.
Yep.
ポリコム。あ、これマイクかな？マイクですね。ポリコム。
Actually, last year I was working the study in UK.
Let's study.
Yeah.
Oh. Last year let's study you came here?
Yeah.
Okay. And you previously met Prof. Riza as well, right?
Yes. And I back to Japan this April, start the lecture work at ST University of Osaka.
Osaka.
Yes.
Actually, I just joined this institute for 2 months, and I'm doing work with Prof. Riza.
Oh, so before working here, what do you do?
I just finished my PhD, but before this I worked with a telecommunication company, Telecom Malaysia.
Telecom Malaysia, TM.
TM, yeah. I think you know TM.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I worked with them for almost more than 5 years. Around, yeah, more than 5 years.
Of course, but unfortunately, Malaysian people seems to like complain to TM.
Especially the high-speed broadband, which is not that too high speed. But at least they have this product, the high-speed broadband for the cities. You're teaching in
Yeah.
Chiba University?
Chiba University.
Yeah,
Malaysia,
Professor
yes.
Yukio Oguri.
Right.
Yeah.
Kyoto University. Osaka City University.
Yeah. I got PhD in Kyoto University.
Alright, okay.
Kyoto and Osaka is not so far.
Not so far. My friend just came back from Hokkaido.
Hokkaido.
There's a program under AEON, AEON, the AEON environmental platform called AEP. It's a AEON, AEON is a big shopping complex.
Yeah, just.
Yeah. They organize like a study trip to Hokkaido.
This side, right? I'm not really recommending the gently together. Oguri. Yukio.
Tapi from yang prima ya.
So I already made experiment in Malacca in 2001. Speed indicator. So they have kind of long relationship.
Study
This
Yeah, this was the car for the state government. I just installed maximum speed indicator. And only after this.
Tadi diskusi yang sama ni lah. Kalau tak nama
No.
panjang ni nak confirmkan ini
We developed speed limiter with the system for the gasoline car by controlling the throttle. Then also the existing system to just push acceleration and then throttle come down like this. But then we include the computer system here.
Okay, yes, sorry. This is our director, Prof. Oguri. This is our director, Professor Dr. Halima, director of the institute.
Japan.
From Chiba University. Oh, okay, I've been to Chiba. I've been, yes.
Next time, please.
I have been there before. I definitely would have been to your university. I think it's a different university.
That's still very important.
Very important university. Okay.
You've met.
Good to see you again. Hi. Yes.
Okay, this is also ini from the Yukio, right?
I think
Yes, we met already.
Yes. Isn't it?
Yes.
This is the new
Your new one. Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think you have mine, Prof. but you get another one. Yes.
Prof. Halima, Yasuki is our student.
Yes, of course.
Gabe also is intending to come and join us. September, February.
February, is it? Very good. Okay. Very nice. That's very nice. Okay. That's good.
Study business.
Okay. So he's thinking of February and not in September, is it? Okay. Is there a reason why? Not really. Oh, okay.
Work.
Yeah, we understand. You just want to finish some of your work. Alright. We understand. Alright. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A very good afternoon. Welcome to the Institute. Prof. Ali has been here before. Prof. Yuri. Prof. Yuri. How do you pronounce that? Oguri?
Oguri, yes.
Oguri.
You may call me by my first name,
Yukio.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Prof, this is your first time? Is it, Prof? The first
I've
time
been
here
here
in Malaysia? No?
since
Yeah,
2000.
2001.
Wow, that's a long
Yes.
time.
Yeah, that's very long
So you've been
relation.
coming to UKM? No.
No, at that time I joined to the International Conference Council on Urban Development.
Urban
And
development.
and every year in somewhere in the Pacific Rim region, we held the annual conference. And in 2001, we took the Malacca as a place where we hold that in a PRCUD conference. And but this time the Yukawa-san visited me last year, 2 years ago. And then I started communicating with UKM people since last year.
So when you come here, which faculty do you work with?
The
FS scale.
Oh, this is good. On urban planning.
And FKB, yeah, regional planning. And
FKB with
transport, Professor Miluni.
Oh, transport.
actually I'm guided by Dr. Yukawa I'm not quite sure where I am, where I was. He's a very good navigator.
FKB is where?
FKB Sustainable
Oh, Faculty Kejujuan.
Yeah.
Alam-bin.
Oh, Alam-bin.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had transport. Yeah. Under civil engineering, is it?
Yes.
Under civil engineering. Oh, with Prof. Riza Atik.
Yeah, I know him, but that time collaborate with Professor Miluni.
Amiruddin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also try to collaborate with FSSK.
FSSK. But have you done anything with FSSK?
Yeah, still communicate.
Still communicating with FSSK. Because FSSK has urban planning, isn't it?
Urban planning and transport psychology.
And transport psychology.
Yes.
Because I gave them a chance at one time with Taiwan. Remember, we opened up a scholarship for them for urban. But I think that student didn't go, and it was a shame. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for coming over this afternoon. I think Prof. Ali, you have something to tell us, which we are really looking forward. We would like to hear your proposals to speak of what you would like to do. I think this is regarding our MOA that we're going to sign, right?
Yes.
Is it part of it? Part of it is our MOA, is it? Yes.
Okay, let me.
Dr. Azlina is on leave today. Dr. Azlina was handling the MOA, is it? Or you? Oh, it's Prof. Riza. That's nice. So Prof. Riza is doing it now, so at least Prof. Riza is here. Okay, that's good.
Actually, I prepared these 3 slides. Maybe as you can see in June.
Yes, in June. Yeah.
I couldn't find the file here in my PC, so I
Yes.
just asked him to.
Yes.
Last in March, we visited here. I visited with JASPA representative, Mr. Tsukamoto. And at that time, we thought about coming out with something that collaboration or collaborative between industry and university and with some kind of state support. So we then we thought about some kind of project or something to. So we call it like our objective is to create or to develop Asia or South. First, we start with Southeast Asia Regional Cooperation Innovation Development Consortium. And when we prepared this, we thought we are going to start this consortium by inviting some people from Asia, especially from sister universities or industry, to come to Okinawa and talk and then create such collaboration like consortium. And so if you look at the other page, because we thought we found to find something will combine university interests and industry interests. So here there are 2 almost coinciding circles. Let us the dotted one is universities, between universities. That means Instead of like, for example, my university has many relations with different universities in Asia, but it's some kind of one-to-one relation. We thought it's better to combine all of them. Instead of going every time to one university, we can meet somewhere and make it like one-to-many, something like relation. At the same time, the industry, like JASPA, they are interested in creating like collaboration with universities, as well as industries or businesses or enterprises in Asia. So we thought we can combine, we make like this consortium, can be like industry and even like universities, academic institutes, something like that. And of course, within this, what to do within this such association, let us say, we can, for example, we can have between Mayo and UKM, MOA, something like this. And of course, later, between Mayo and UKM, we can have some specific projects, like research projects or something like this between us. At the same time, Mayo and UKM can join other universities. Like more than 2 universities can join one project. For example, just like today when we visited this study, and they talk about applying for a project together, and we will include like Chiba Commerce, University of Commerce, and like not only 2 universities, many universities can come with this. So we thought, actually we took this concept and approached the government in Okinawa, and we are looking for like fund to have like a meeting in November, like a kick-off meeting for such association or consortium. So far, still we are fighting to get the fund, still not secured. For just the people, still they think they can invite on their own limited number, maybe from UKM or so. But still we are looking for a fund from the Japanese government in order to be able to invite more than like one university, more than one country. And of course, recently I sent you an email because they told us if you want us to support, like if some people said we can help you to get fund for this meeting, summit in Okinawa, but they needed like some initiative from Malaysian side. And they said we need access. First, they wanted to hear from you, and they wanted to have some, if you can introduce them to some of the Japanese PMs, member of parliaments, who are already involved in collaboration with Malaysia. Usually they said they wanted to go to Malaysian embassy, but they said it's better if you can have some approach from here. If you have some information about some people, key figures you know, who are playing some, usually they say they are maybe in politics, in cooperation between countries, there are some political figures, member of parliaments who are related to each country. So usually they said those information are available in the embassy, Malaysian embassy. So this is what we are doing now, we are trying to find fund for this summit in Okinawa to start, as this summit will be like a kick-off for such consortium. And of course, within this, we are going to make our MOA and something like this with UK. And for that, what help or what assistance we need from you, maybe later I can elaborate in detail what they, if you can give us some information on this by approaching some of those figures in Malaysia who are related to Japanese.
Before we can do anything, before we can even tell you who the figures are or what, I think we need to be really very certain. What is it? What is this consortium actually? Because I even need to explain this to my vice chancellor. If anything, you know, the first thing is I will probably need to be convinced myself. What is this all about? Why is this consortium important? What is this consortium going to do? You know, what exactly are we saying when we're saying that we're doing a regional cooperation of innovation development within this consortium? What are we doing actually? Are we just forming an association? What is the outcome? What do we intend to do out of this consortium? You know, is it? I don't know.
It's just abstract now, but the point is that
I don't see the functions. I don't see the objective. I don't see.
Okay.
You know, so I don't understand what is this.
Okay.
So
for example, let us to make it more clear. We assume that if we have such a framework that we can between several universities, that then this will give us freedom to create like special interest groups. For example, JASPA people, do you remember last time they said they are interested in sending researchers like him, even to locate them at IVI, okay? This will be...
if you say that, then the university would tell me things are already happening this way. You know, collaborations like that between universities are already happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is so special about this that they will say? You know, so that's why we must be able to show this concept. If we could have it in writing, then we could understand it better. Maybe you know, one, two. I think a clear vision of what is the objective of this consortium. What is its function? Should we form one? How can it benefit the nations and the universities that's involved? You know, that can be very different than if we were doing it, you know, without this consortium.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea of consortium is that so far we have MOAs or contracts between main university, for example, and Malaysia, University of Malaysia. And now we are having one with UKM. We have many universities in like Thailand, in Indonesia also. So far we have in main university, recently we created like a consortium with the main university, Ryukyu University, like 2 universities in Okinawa and Hawaiian, like 7.
Which we can do that, isn't it? Very easily with Malaysia. You can actually do the MOA with us. Yeah.
So this concept is combining not only 2 universities or only 2 countries. Yes. That means we thought like UKM or in Malaysia you can be like initiative in making use of your relation with other universities in other countries and invite them to have like a Southeast Asia consortium. That means collection of universities in different.
We already have now ASEAN, which is very working, which is a strong thing that has started recently.
ASEAN, this is
ASEAN, ASEAN, ASEAN.
Yeah, I know, but this is some kind of a big.
For ASEAN, so ASEAN can come in here, I guess. I do not know if that is what you're trying to tell me. Is it? Is it like that?
Is something like that, but that's ASEAN is a very big state level.
I know, but what the universities are doing now, which the university now under one of the deputy vice chancellors is in charge of it, is working on pushing this idea of this inter-university program within ASEAN. So in terms of research, in terms of everything. So I'm just trying to see how ASEAN could fit. Because you were saying just now that if we could lead for Southeast Asia. I think for Malaysia, there's no longer Southeast Asia, it's more like ASEAN.
ASEAN, yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So if we are to do that, it would have to be UKM leading within ASEAN countries, maybe. No longer Southeast Asia, they no longer use just Southeast Asia anymore, you know? Within this region, we have to use ASEAN because we're already part of ASEAN. Malaysia is part of ASEAN, so the collaboration now is in existence with ASEAN. And that's what UKM is pushing, the Vice Chancellor is pushing so much. So that's why I want to know this very, very clearly, so that if I have to explain to him, I need to understand this. And therefore, where if it needs be, of course not Southeast Asia, but maybe ASEAN to be part of this, and for Malaysia to lead this, if this is a good enough project, so to speak, right? That's why I need to know, as a consortium, what would be the benefits? You know, how could we benefit from this? You know,
I think
if we just form a collaboration like we do, just between Mayo and this and Chiba and IB, you know, what would that be the difference if we just have the collaboration between Chiba, IB, and Mayo, IB? You know?
And of course, here we are from this we are looking at real collaboration through the region, not only between two universities.
Nice. But how does it work? That's the thing. On paper, it looks really nice.
So, for example, like Jasper people, they said, for example, they are interested in creating like a research group in security.
That's why if I can say to the Vice Chancellor, for instance, we're doing a certain area in research, there is a special grant that's going to be put out by this, I don't know who, is it Jasper or whatever, then it's different, you know? Then we'll do a joint project together under the consortium. Or, I don't know, or the whole consortium will be working towards one big project where everyone will sort of like try to get grants from the government. I don't know if each country get from the government a grant, if this is recognized by the country, by each country, because you said you were going through the embassies. If I don't know what consortium so far, if I can say ARCID ARCIDC or ASIC or whatever. You know, if we can say, I don't know, or we can take that away and put SIC or ASIC, Asian region, ARIC.
You can say
ARIC. Okay, if we can take away all the D and D, we can say ARIC, alright? We can say that ARIC is a consortium that is recognized by the government. If you work it that way, I mean, if ARIC is actually something that can be recognized by each government, and each government contributes something, like the Euro, like the EU grant. If they contribute something to put in a pool of money, if we could convince the different countries, then that would be worth it, I think. Then there is a reason to be a consortium. That means that we work at a big project, on a big project, then there is a big grant put somewhere. We all apply for such a grant, and we can work within the region. You know, that will benefit the region, each country. I don't know, is that the reason, or what are we coming together for? We're coming together for what? You know?
Okay,
if it's loose, if it's like what we're doing right now, then I don't think I can convince the university, and I don't think I can convince my master. They will say, it's going on now. You still have the collaborations with the other universities, you're doing well. You're connecting with universities. What's the problem now is grants, that's for sure. Every university has problems with grants now, at least in Malaysia. I don't know about the rest of the country, the rest of the regions. But Malaysia has a problem. So if I can tell him that will solve some of the research problems where money is concerned, then yes, I think everyone will be quite excited, you know. But if I say it's just another collaboration, then they say, go ahead. to do what you've been doing, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing new there.
Okay. First, this.
Unless we're going to be together, because there is a grant somewhere. In Japan, there is a big grant somewhere, which then we need to all go into a consortium to apply for that grant. Then it's different, isn't it? Otherwise, why are we forming this?
Of course, when I wrote this concept, I started from already our president.
But so far, how many countries are there already? How many universities?
No, so far only May University have consortium is Latin American, some collection of universities, and we have another one is Hawaii.
But it's not within this consortium.
No, this is something region. But do you remember when last time in March, our president addressed a meeting here?
I remember he was saying about a seminar, a summit, or a conference, isn't it? It was going to do. That was entirely different. I thought it was not a consortium.
He said, for example, in Okinawa, Okinawa as a state in Japan, they are looking forward to collaboration with Asia.
Yes.
Because they think Okinawa is more
That's for purposes of indexing, is it?
Index.
Is it?
The company?
I don't know. Is it, what purposes was it?
For the index.
What was the purpose? Was it for indexing? No.
Indexing, you mean?
I don't know, because I see this as
index.
company.
This is index. This is one of the companies which is interested in collaboration with Asia. So the concept of consortium is already there, okay? And when we came here last March with Jasper people, they are interested in more collaboration with universities and industry in Asia, okay? But not with only one. So they think if Asian resources, they can come together and collaborate in a very big projects, they can benefit all, not only two.
But how can it benefit?
For example, they are going to one scenario is, for example, first let me explain that this is not like a project that depends on a specific budget. Okay, we are trying to make it sustainable in terms of we try to satisfy the interest of, for example, already we can have collaboration, which already we have. Yes. But we will open this to other universities who can come and join us.
Which they already have collaborations in their own way, so I think it's tough to get them in. Okay, never mind.
But we never.
They must know what is it that they're going to benefit when they form this as a region.
Yeah.
You know?
So, of course. For example, what we are willing to do is to invite. For example, we invite UKM, we invite other 2 or 3 other universities, not only from Malaysia, let us say 7 universities, and they, for the first time, they come all together and meet and discuss how to collaborate. For example, we will say first in IBI we have a big data project. We have students who are if they want to send a student, they can send a student to us, for example. So what we are calling now is we invite people to come and discuss this. This is not towards. It's just we are come and discuss to create this, not come and sign. Because so far we think if we create they said, for example, those index people, they are interested in information security. Okay, some companies who are working with this Ruby software and so on, they are also interested to come. If they said if they can come and start some research group.
I think what we can do is form under, because Jasper is an association, isn't it?
Yes.
It's an association of software, what is it called? Association of Software, something like that.
Japanese Software Association.
Yeah, something like that, isn't it?
Subsidiary. Yeah, subsidiary.
And who are their members?
Like over
Is it just industry, or do you have industry and university?
this
members
JASPA?
of JASPA?
No, JASPA is just software like
Just industry.
industry, a collection of more than 130.
But you also have an association on computer science.
Many, yeah. Of course, there are many, but this particular one is.
Couldn't we bring in, because Malaysia has got Malaysian Institute, Malaysian Information Technology Society, of which I'm the president. So
I think he was talking about this, but we can ask.
so it's easier that we don't have to go through the university. You know what I mean? It's so much easier, and you need the permission of the university, and it is not wrong because under an NGO. You know, so if you want to do this, it has to be brought to university. It's a long process. You know, because universities, among universities, they have many associations. They have the ASEAN, they have the ASAHIL, they have the there's so many. There's so many that I know. The Oceania, Australian, you know. There's so many association, which you can call it consortium of universities. You know, which actually headed by vice chancellors of the different universities, heads of the vice chancellors. But of course, they can decide. I went to one last 2 years ago with the vice chancellor for the one that was in Oceania, and you know, which is quite an interesting group of universities. You know, so that has to be approved by heads of universities. You know, and they must lead it, not us. You know. If it's to do like that. But if it is under our field, then there is no problem. We don't need to go to the university. We can say yes, we can do it. We don't need to call it a consortium. We can, I don't know, we can call it something else. The consortium sounds so business-like. You know, consortium is so business-like, like we're going to have a joint venture, or you know, that's why I asked, because companies would call it consortium normally, isn't it? Because when they form a consortium, then they are bidding for a particular project. You know, I was in one consortium before when we were bidding for the big smart school project for the country. I remember, you know, that we belonged to the consortium that had international companies in there. We had EDS from US, we had British Telecom from Britain, and we had many other companies from India, from all over the world. You know, so that would be suitable for a consortium. But for something that, if we want UKM, because I saw UKM here, you see, so my worry is to get permission. Maybe you're trying to say the whole of UKM, I cannot make decision for the whole of UKM. I can make decision for maybe IB, but not decision for UKM. You know, UKM's got to go through the university, which means the Vice Chancellor got to make the decision if whether UKM is to be as part of this consortium. But again, for me to bring even the idea, it has to be very clear. I have to understand this whole concept of your entity, of this concept, you know. Right now I cannot see yet what is the objective, how can the universities gain, how can, you know, because collaborations as it is going now is already going. We have collaborations with many universities. UKM has, I think, collaboration with, hundreds maybe of universities all over the world, you know. But the problem is they are not working. You know what I mean? I'm sure you know, in Japan as well, we have beautiful MOUs and MOAs, isn't it? Yeah. But it is not working now. How can we? This is different, and this is exactly what I'm trying to look at. And I can only see if there is a difference if we have something real and practical and to work on. You know, we're working towards this. There's a project that we want to work on, and therefore we're going to work together. That will work because we are very clear of what we want. You know, if it's going to be just a collaboration, we're going to say that endless, nothing will happen. I tell you, nothing is going to happen because it will be just beautiful on the paper, but nothing will happen. It will be kept there for, you know. And I think this is my concern. I think I like to make a collaboration with Mayo and with Chiba, definitely. But if we will do very specific thing what we're going to do, and therefore there is an achievement. Even if JASPA wants, I think, we can. There's nothing wrong if JASPA wants to. Because the idea that I met the boss of JASPA the last time he was here, I remember we were saying maybe we could have a conference together with the software company could come and join us. We said, yeah, that would have been good because at the conference they can meet many people. You know, like every 2 years, IB has a conference called IB, which is next year. Next year, November, we'll be having that conference. And that conference is an international conference. We of course have Taiwan, we have UK, we have Cambridge University, we used to have Imperial. I'm trying to get somebody back from Imperial if I can, because the last one, my friend from Imperial passed away. She passed away 2 years ago, Maria Patro, and so I now have to find someone to replace her, from Imperial, and I'm sure we can. And of course, there's Uppsala University, there's from Sweden, there's many other universities, Chile University, which is who is from Chile? Palestine is from Chile as well as from Kingston University in England, and we have Alan Smitten from Ireland, So we have all these people who will be at the conference, and it's very international. So if Jasper want to come in there as part of, to be with us, and therefore sponsor a part of the conference, and yet they can gain because they can meet all these people, and see how can they meet. We also have the industry which is with us. Some of the industry that supports us will be with us, usually at the conference. And of course, MITS will be there as well, which is the Malaysian Information Technology Society, will be there as well. And, we also have MNCC. MNCC has not fully come in, but I'm trying to invite them the next time round of IBIC. MNCC, the Malaysian National Computer Confederation, of which the president now is somebody that I know very well, so I think I can ask him to join us as well. So associations and academics can be part of the conference. I see that as very clear, that can be done very easily, without even thinking about this very complicated thing of how can we, we work together. I think that we can work together very fast. In fact, I was thinking like how could we in the different countries, like now Japan, I don't know if Japan can actually think of like me meeting with our friends from Taiwan after that conference, after we had IBIC, we managed to get 7 actually scholarships from Taiwan, actually from the Taiwan government after that conference that we met, and we were very close, and the professors there managed to get the okay from the government of Taiwan to do collaboration with UKM, particularly with IB at a master's level. So we had a joint, joint supervision. But the scholarship was given by the Taiwanese government. So that's something that we could do, Malaysia maybe can give to one day. At the moment now, the economy is not so good, so I think Malaysia is just hoping to get something from somewhere, So, which is something that we hope to, this kind of things. I think that would be nice. Malaysia too can. I think once we have, we can also have this mobility thing that we have too. I think UKM particularly runs mobility, and I think that is something that, in fact, I just came back from Senate just now. So attachments are very important. So which means that I think we must think very seriously of wanting our PhD students and our master students to be attached to another university for a month or 3 months. That is very serious. I think that's something that we want to do. That one we have to find the money, of course, and send it to you, and you can send yours to us. A kind of direct collaboration. I like that very much. So if Jasper can think of a way of how they can sponsor us, it doesn't matter your university or my university. That means if our students, your students from Japan would like to come to IB, maybe they could partly sponsor, or our students to go over to you, they could partly sponsor. I think that would be really nice. All the industries, we could also get ours, like MNCC to come in, or the other industries to come in as well from Malaysia. if they could then jointly join. I think not to worry about setting up the consortium, but making the networking first. You know, having the networking. Once we have the networking, then we want to form this group. I think it's so much easier. Right now, from not having any networking, I think it's very, very difficult. Everyone will be wondering what can we gain from it, other than the current mechanism that we've been doing all this while. You know, to make it work. I think that's most important, to make it work. You know, how can we make this collaboration? How can we make this collaboration with Mayo work? I think it's nice now that we see. Right now we have a JESPA, is it? Student ni datang under?
Ada company sendiri. Ada company. Bukan ada JESPA.
Not under JESPA. Yasuki is under Index. It's under Index company, right? It's a company, isn't it? So, and next time, what's the other one? Gabe. You will come under your company as well when you come to do your PhDs. You see, that's yeah. That's quite nice. Which means that we have companies that we know. You know, that'd be so nice. And later, when we have many of this, then yeah.
Actually, this idea is based on our previous conversation in terms of, I can see now the word.
Unofficially, I think if it's IB, yes, I can see.
Yes,
but
yes.
You put UCAM, I'm worried because then I
yes,
need
yes.
to get
I
to
mean,
get the UCAM
I can see
permission.
the word
Then it's very difficult for me.
consortium. This word.
But even if you want to form a consortium, I have to report to the university. You know,
not
and
in
it's
this,
very, very difficult.
what I want to say is that this word, you said in Malaysia, is some kind of industry word or something like this. But so far in Japan, like we have a consortium for
I agree with you.
National universities.
I agree with you.
It's
I
very
think
academic
it's
word.
not industry. It can be academic as well.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Well, UK has as well. UK has now.
But
now that I think of it, there is one. The visual it's something like visual consortium. Yeah, I know.
Even
in
now,
UK there is. I know Cambridge, Wales University, and a few other. Yeah, I remember now. Even academic they have. But then it's official. It's officially the university. Within the field. I think it's easier within the field. Because that one is the one that they have the visual something in UK. If you Google, they're all in a kind of like visual informatics kind of, but it's not visual informatics.
So the objective is not this consortium. Even you
no, the name is too general, which involves universities.
But
if you call it like I don't know if you call it like.
Even we can just
IT or in our field. I don't know. If we can put it our field, then we're not disturbing anybody. We're not making it too wide. We're making it.
So the point is that here, let us say, delete this word, because actually when we thought about it.
No, I think consortium is alright. No, it's okay with me. I think being it so broad is my problem. Broad means it has to be headed by the COE. I mean by the CEO.
But here
if you talk about ICT or if you talk about, you know.
So the point.
If you smaller it.
Yes.
So this is too big.
You remember we said first, let us have a meeting of IT people. Yes.
Yeah.
When we went back to Japan, they told us it's very difficult to get fund. It's support for something in Malaysia. So some people advise us to have some event in Japan. So we thought about inviting. So we wrote this. This is just a cover for a project we supply to invite people like from IVI, from UKM, from different people, just to meet and discuss.
Okay.
But the discussion should have some kind of vision.
Of course. That's what I was.
We are looking for like Asia Regional Cooperation in a way, development.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
development means?
Like we are going to develop some consortium or some relation or some framework in order to.
No, because you say cooperation innovation, so that means innovation development would be some form of I I don't know, innovation, isn't it?
This is just a suggestion of what are we going to meet and to discuss. We should have like to discuss something, to come out with something. So we would like to come out with some framework that will combine our different like universities, researchers from Asia region, and at the same time, not only researchers in like academic institutes, but also in the industry. Because like JASPA people are interested in this. They think because many of JASPA, like in Japan, in case of JASPA or association, those they don't have ability to have laboratory, to like have a research. So it's some kind of collaboration to have like one research between different, not only companies, but also involving the academic. As the case was here, for example, now we are trying to, you remember you said maybe in the future, if like JASPA are interested, you may ask, they can equip some laboratory,
Yes.
something like this. So even JASPA itself is some kind of, not only one company, but it should not necessarily this laboratory combines JASPA and IVR. It can combine some from. So we wrote this. Towards means we are looking forward to to create. We hope that we can come out with some collaboration like framework or something, whatever we can call it. So what we thought we can do instead of JASPA needs some support from the government. But
But who do you, what kind of field do you intend
IT,
to have?
first, JASPA is IT, ICT.
Is it?
Yes. It's, especially now they think if we have this, we succeed to have a meeting in Okinawa, in advance we will call for like topics. Some are interested in information security. So they will say, okay.
You know why I asked this? Because so many things that have been going on, but nothing really comes out constructively, you know. In fact, in Malaysia, we also have what we call MyRAN. I don't know whether the Innovation Research Education Network. Within this MyRAN, we have working groups, and IB actually started from MyRAN, from the research group. You know, we started from just a small research group that was part of this Malaysian Research Education Network, and from then we became a group that was strong enough to bring forward to the university to say that we have a strong team and we'd like to set up the institute, and therefore of course they evaluated us for 4 years to 5 years before they said yes. So we were in MyRAN for about 7 years before institute was set up. In fact, within the MyRAN group now, IB is the only group that has come out and set up an institution so far. You know, out of that group, there's about 12 groups, so there's still another 11 group there. That's just a research group within MyRAN. So I can see that that's an area within MyRAN, and it was through MyRAN that we got all the other universities to join us in Malaysia, and that's how we formed and we thought the best way to group together, because if you ask them to come to group together like this, they'll ask you a lot of questions, you know. But if you ask them to come as a group in a conference, they're very willing to come. I think that's how we started. That's why we had a conference. That was how the IB conference. And you know how we set up this institute as well, despite the fact that of course we were strong in our field within the university, and they evaluated us every year anyway through the research group. But the other way that was very strongly put forward was by the team from the other universities, from Cambridge University, from Newcastle University, from Taiwan, from the rest, who actually wrote letters, gave us recommendation letters that I put forward to the university. You know, that shows that somebody has to form this institute, and they felt that it should be in Malaysia. you know, and that was really an honor for us. So I think that's how it happened. So to me, you have to have something at the end. What do you want at the end? You know, then you work towards it. Otherwise, it will be, we'll say it's a collaboration, but it will not happen. We will just form an institution, and nothing happens. If we say we want to form this institution so that we can get government help, so that we can put up a grant, something like the EU grant or whatever grant that there is. But then again, I just found out recently there is a special grant between Malaysia, Thailand.
Informatics is not a very popular word, but we shouldn't care about the American concept.
Yeah, we don't care about Americans anyway. We do what we like. Yeah, we just do what we like. Yeah, true.
Well, we are in Asia.
Yeah.
So
You know why they don't like? Because the European use it. Yeah, it's always when UK
that's quite
and European
possible.
use it.
That's
they
quite
don't.
possible.
You know,
Yes.
it's always the opposite. Just like tomatoes. You know,
And the European people does not like the American.
elevators, lift.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they just don't like. They will not use it. It's the
Okay.
European.
So I may get started, and try to be short. Try to be short. So say, please control me.
It's okay.
Okay, having long in the research of soft car project, then I came up to the new concept of soft mobility last year after meeting the Yukawa-san and other UK people. And this soft mobility management system, I am now changing this part a bit, but this is the slide which I explained last year, one year ago. And I add just one slide at the end of this slide. So I'll tell you what's going on now. Now I belong to the, as you have noticed, Faculty of Policy Informatics, and it is based on the concept of the kind of super field, multidisciplinary and more than multidisciplinary, try to develop new kind of disciplines. And I myself got the PhD from University of Pennsylvania in 1996. I forgot, 40 years ago. Okay, so I got the idea of soft car, which is not still very much popular, but in 1982, yes, already 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, when I was teaching at the University of Tsukuba. Tsukuba was and is located in the totally car-dependent city. There are a lot of accidents, and in which the students are killed and the residents are killed. And I started the campaign not to let students have alcohol. So,
yes, profit before they eat, before they go sleep.
what's Q? Q? Yeah, I'll tell you what. Q is a toy name, toy of car. Right, and Q car is a toy. And the toy was made into a real one.
Okay.
So they started to sell. Toy maker started to sell Q car. So I combined soft car concept with Q car. Therefore, I call it soft Q car. Yeah, that became very popular.
Okay, sorry about that, Ram,
No,
because
quite
I scared they go back.
Okay, thank you. And so I got the idea to somehow control speed of car according to type of road and type of area. And if you go to the, say, narrow street, car speed doesn't have to be 160 kilometers per hour. Instead, it should be under 15. And if you go to trunkway with side street, it can be 30. And if you go from city A to city B, you may speed up to 60 kilometers per hour. And if you use highway, then up to 100 kilometers per hour. And this is controller. And basically, what I wanted to emphasize is that any car which install these kind of equipment, which controls maximum speed, then we call it soft car. And not only just control speed, I saw that psychologically, if you show the maximum speed by light, LED light, and for 15 kilometers per hour rainbow, 30 kilometers blue, and 60 kilometers for yellow, and the one that gives orange. And if the car, the indicator, external speed indicator, start flickering, it's telling that the car is exceeding maximum limit. Therefore, the driver behavior will be controlled under the kind of the eyes of people. Then here there is the information technology is used. That is, we can identify speed of car utilizing the GPS and the digital map. And if you have the map, which has the maximum speed limit, then we can make all the cars over the world into soft from hard. Then I got the electric vehicle in year 2003, and which was called Q car. I named it soft Q car. The purpose was drastic decrease of the car crashes, less injuries, and meeting need of mobility disabled, young youth and elderlies, and to make city more compact and comfortable urban community space, energy saving and creation of innovative industries. Right. Okay. This. We don't have to, but here there are many streets. Although I studied at the American University, I really hate American planning, and so this is kind of China. Okay, let's go next. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the scheme of 100 kilometers per hour, and the limit and the light of car. Let's go next, please. Okay, this is the how to control maximum speed. Okay, next. And this is the how to use the external indicator. Changes from rainbow to blue to kind of yellow. Okay, thank you. Right. And I made experiment. I got the research fund from Japanese government of $1 million US. It's a very huge amount of money from year 2000 to 2003. And this is where my university is located. That's next to Tokyo. And in a small area, we made a test. Okay, let's go. And we put some speed, not speed indicator, but just sign, very much handmade signs, and maybe 40 or 50 signs. And the resident of the area, most of them are shopkeepers, use my speed indicator. And people
You created that software, that indicator?
Yes, we did. I myself is not an engineer, so I of course asked.
Of course.
Someone else to do something. Okay.
So that software is being put on the car?
No, that's right.
Outside or inside?
Inside, but can be seen from outside.
Oh.
Right? So to keep
Where do you put that thing?
The go up. 前の方にちょっと戻ってもらえますか。もう一つ前。もう一つ前、ごめんなさい。もう一つ前。これだ。Okay, here.
And then
This is the
what?
indicator.
Oh, that's the indicator, yeah.
Yeah, this is the rear window, and you can see the light from outside. You understand?
Yeah.
And this is front window, and you can see the light from outside.
From outside.
Right. That is important. And also, you can see the drivers can see the speed indicator from inside. So I really enjoyed it because if you drive the car, and when I push button 15, then color changes into rainbow.
Rainbow, yeah.
And I can sense, especially at night, when I change 30. Okay, I'm now driving below 30. So this is caution. The equipment to give some caution. And if it starts, flickering, driver himself understand.
Unless it's a traffic jam. Unless it is a traffic jam.
Traffic to escape?
Traffic jam.
わかりますよ。渋滞にするときに。
強制的に。
The car burns slow.
Ah.
Sorry, 15.
No, at this moment, not that this technology is not that advanced. We just, chose.
I know. If there is a traffic jam,
speed limit.
that means if there's a traffic jam, I go very slow.
Yeah.
So my car will always be rainbow.
No, not really.
No?
If you are running through the 60 meter per hour street,
Yes.
the light will be yellow.
Yeah.
But it does never flicker. And you understand that I am driving under the limit of 60 kilometers
Yes,
per hour.
understand. But if,
But
if that particular day there is a
no,
jam,
that I understand.
Yeah.
But we do have speed meter itself inside the car. This
Yeah.
tells you the
Yeah.
speed. And I'll tell you.
it doesn't follow that.
I'll tell you later.
So
how
it doesn't
I'm-
follow that. It follows what's outside, is it?
Yeah, right. So
So it doesn't
to
follow the
work-
situation.
Of course. So therefore, as you are the expert of information technologies, you may think about better ways. This is very much basic and simple skill. But as you said, you are quite right. If we have traffic jam, we shouldn't go too fast. So even when the legal speed limit is 60 kilometers, probably we had better have this 10 kilometers per hour speed. That is the next step. But this is very much basic stuff. So please understand.
Yes.
And still I'm elementary school. Elementary school.
Yeah,
Okay, let's go. Next.
Road limitation.
Okay, next. Okay, so the shopkeepers really like the idea to show their speed because they did not think they are controlled by people, but they felt that they became very good drivers. I am now following the speed limit That's a very much psychological interest. Okay, let's go next. Okay, and this is one of the data which we got from the test. And with speed limiter, I don't know, not speed limiter, but the speed indicator, people started to, go very much, flat speed. And without speed limit, they go up and down. So the average speed became, with indicator, average speed became very short, small, and variance became so small. You understand? 25 times less. And okay, let's go. And we tested the GPS and the GPS and digital map test. And in this case, we automatically change using the GPS and maximum speed, GPS and digital map. From here to here, speed limit was 15 kilometers per hour, and the car speed was 15 kilometers per hour. Just then, for the in the area of 30 kilometers per hour. Originally, from the beginning, I thought 39 kilometers can be used, so it went up to 39 kilometers. But between the 30 and 39 kilometers, cars start flickering. So I use kind of technology and psychology both to let drivers keep speed limit. And for the 60 kilometers per hour, there was a turn of the car, so the speed went down. And we did not use the brake to speed down the car. Therefore, the car speed was not so, did not fit to the speed limit. But still, it went very well. Okay, let's go next. And I tested original, first demonstration software was done in Malacca in 2001 because we had Pacific Rim Council of Urban Development in year 2000, and I was the organizer of that council. And then at that time already we were.
So this project you were working with Yukio?
No, this is the previous project.
I know this previous project. Were you working with universities in Malaysia?
No, at this moment only the government, state government of Malacca helped us.
Malacca.
So these cars are the state government.
The State Department.
Yeah.
State Department
And
Malacca.
especially those bike people, they are also the government people. They really like it.
Also, they have this speed limit.
Yeah. No, there's no speed limit at this moment. But
I mean,
interesting is that I think this is a famous street in the World Heritage area. But my friend, University of Los Angeles professor, like to have an experiment in this area. And this is very narrow street. But if you go there, I visited last year, and the station somehow changed, I felt. But on this narrow street, car speed was like 60 kilometers, 40 kilometers per hour. So we should keep speed down. And we demonstrated. And anyhow, it was very much successful, I thought. Okay, let's go. So there are many comments from the Chinese scholar and Japanese mother, and also the parliament, city parliament women. Okay, let's go to next. And now we employ this Q car. This is very cute. And originally the toy maker made a small toy, which is called Q car. And the company president wanted to make it real. So they started to sell this Q car in year 2002. I met the president, and he liked my idea. Let's combine soft car concept and Q car concept. So I developed soft Q car. Let's go next. And I attended ITS World Congress
And first in the Australia, then Chicago, and Nagoya. And I showed it Nagoya in 2004. And in 2005, there was an expo. And my soft cue car was used as a daily parade. And because of the cuteness of the car, the people really liked it. Okay, but let's go next. And but I forgot to tell you. 戻っていただいていいですか？そうそう。I visited so many, schools and schools children really liked it.
to go in the car.
Yeah. And everybody's lazy. Take seat and very interesting. I really enjoy it. And there are so many publicities by newspapers. But interesting is that these publicities very much local publicities. But eventually it appeared almost all in Japan, and also the NHK Japanese broadcast and other broadcasting companies took some made them news. Okay, let's go next. Then in year 2006, when I was thinking of developing a book, writing a book, I thought I have not met people who need soft car, who are the victims of car crashes. Nowadays we do have 5,000, 4,000 people killed on street. But at that time, already almost 10,000 people were killed. So I started talking with the Japanese victims, and also I started to see the European victims associations, and I visited Brussels and some statement. Okay, let's go next. And I started, after publication of my book of 2009, I started to use this soft cue card to identify what is the appropriate speed for different type of street. And eventually, I'll tell you just one case. In my university city, the legal speed limit was 30 kilometers per hour, but the people preferred 15 kilometers per hour speed limit than 30 kilometers per hour speed, because there were school kids walking in the street, and with 30 kilometers per hour, the drivers feel safe, and as pedestrians also they feel safe. And I did this kind of experiment in Japan, and I brought one to Shanghai in 2010, and she was student really liked it. And one of the students which attended that experiment in Shanghai is now my student in my university, and he is going to receive the master's degree very soon. Okay. And okay, let's go next. Oh, this is the Shanghai experiment. Let's go next. And I did something different. Okay, let's go next. Then I visited the tsunami area in 2011, and I found so many debris of cars. People used to escape from the disasters. They use cars, and they make traffic jams. And there are so many people. I might say 30% or 40% were killed in car, but there's no statistics, and automakers do not like to tell that. So I wrote my blog. Then the Japanese important newspaper took my view in their articles, and so okay, let's go. And interesting is this one. Okay, before that, yes. Sorry, this is still in Japanese, but I found new important data, which tells, this is just all the cases. If you keep maximum speed limit, the death rate means number of death crash divided by number of all the crashes. This becomes very small. But if you go beyond this got so high, and I got 10.9%. It's not but times higher. Yeah. So we can very simply say that if you keep speed limit, very drastic decrease can be expected. Then this is important for you, and this is I found this application. So iPhone, I can show you now. And there is a free software which tells the current speed. Okay, as you said, what is important is to know more exactly what is speed of the current speed. And we can set the maximum speed. And when you go beyond the speed limit, this light becomes the red and gives you some warning sign. And we developed our own version, and here they are in Japan, and I will tell you what happened after. Let's go to next. And my idea was taken very important as a former professor and president of Tokyo University. And he has been very powerful, and he said, I can give you some
Tokyo University.
Tokyo University. But there are some competitors who were in the field of autonomous cars in these days. They took money out of us. but still, I do regard this is more important than autonomous cars. Or let's go to the next. And actually, I met the Google person who is developing autonomous cars. And at the ITS International World Congress in Tokyo 3 years ago, and this is a guy from Google, and he said, not all the cars will be autonomous. He admitted. So if we can collaborate, the autonomous cars and my speed limit soft car can collaborate, we can contribute to traffic safety and traffic jam significantly. That's what he said. And let's go to the next. Yes, this is a important person of the mayor of a city in the disaster area, tsunami. And he liked the idea in 2013. Therefore, I saw that city would become a model city. But unluckily, he was ousted out of the office because he was not elected to become mayor. But still, I talked with this mayor, former mayor, this morning. Okay, let's go next. Now getting close to the idea of how to use this concept to UKM. And there's, excuse me, still a lot of things in English, but this is very much a typical planning concept of Buchanan report, which was developed in 1964. And Yukawa-san was better than me, but this Buchanan report was developed, published in England. And this concept was applied to the development of the Malaysian cities. So if you go to the distributor, if you go inside of that car speed should be slow, and people should be able to move around. And this is the kind of trunk way, and then you can speed up. So there has been this kind of concept, and there's been a lot of planning experience, and you did so, and I really appreciate what you have done. But still, car speed itself has not been controlled.
Important thing is this hierarchy system in road in urban area is very common in Malaysia. But other countries is not so common, even in a developing country like Japan. This is so-called Japanese road system is a grid system.
Yeah, you agree. We're not. You're like the American system.
Right.
Yeah. So Malaysian system actually more developed than Malaysia, but Malaysian system more developed than Japan, but still there are so many problems.
Yeah, and especially when we think about bikes. Bike has very high rate of crashes and disc crashes. Therefore, number of person per say 1,000 people is about 5 times more than Japanese case. Okay, so therefore I have been thinking soft car, but I changed the word from soft car to soft mobility, including bikes, bicycles, right? Okay, let's go next. So the idea of soft car, soft
mobility.
MJ, Malaysia Japan project.
Oh.
MJs, yes, Malaysia Japan. So we have some research experience, and we are doing something, and then soft car project in Malaysia, and the outcome should be soft mobility management. And,
so this one is not done yet.
Not done yet, but we applied to the JICA. That is the Ministry of Education. Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But it was the UKM sent application to the Malaysian government, but Malaysian government declined it because what I think is that the safety was not regarded high, was not given high priority.
Who sent it?
The Dr. Siva?
Yeah. Project leader is Dr. Shiba in FSSK.
FSSK.
Yeah.
And the Dr. Mazlin, Vice President?
Vice President advised our research group.
From your Lestari.
Yeah. Last year already he promoted to Vice Chancellor. Yeah, because at first I become a postdoctoral researcher under Professor Mazlin.
You were his postdoctoral at Lestari, isn't it?
So I proposed, I talked about there is a new idea of extending our research. So
and our concept was under the SATREPS. SATREPS, do you understand? SATREPS is the very big research fund of Japanese government, both under the control of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Education. But somehow we are declined. But our idea developed based on this presentation was to develop the soft mobility zones within the campus and out of campus, in the vicinity of this campus. Okay, let's go next. So to develop soft mobility zone, we need speed control system, ICT, and walking to railway, multimodal traffic, and also some road design. One of is the people's space for street, and this is the Holland, Netherlands, and also eco-technology, natural element. And if we drive cars very slow, we don't have to pave cars in the street by concrete asphalt. You can use natural materials, but very much it will turn this campus very attractive. That I'm sure. Okay, let's go to the next. And this is the picture which I drew 10 years ago. I am rather painter or the cartoon.
You drew this?
Yes, I did it.
10 years ago.
Yes, very nice. And I can even show you some, animation. Wow! Thank you. And actually, when I made a presentation of this in 2001 in Sydney, my presentation was given only 80 points out of 100. And my secretary said, why? I asked her, why you took 20s out of 100? She said, I didn't show that, animation well. Okay, let's go to the next.
Very nice.
And this has been the kind of concept. Still, we have this concept. We have to develop in 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, and evaluation criteria, something like this. Okay, let's go to the next.
The simulation, I see.
Okay, simulation, including simulation. And this is what I'm now conducting, and for which you information people may give us a lot of input. That is, okay. This is a smartphone, and I can show you the real. And you can download it. Let's see. This is exactly the same one, speedometer. Okay.
Same one.
And yeah, and this I have been thinking, just watching this, drivers watch it, but in last January, we had a very big collision over bus in which 13 university students were killed. But we did not know which route the bus took and how they made a crash. So I thought it might be better to observe or monitor the real time, how cars are behaving, where and in which speed. And we do have the drive recorders, but the drive recorders are taken are not real time. After the driving, they check. But if we can develop this system, and we have already developed it, and this maximum speed, maximum speed and current speed and location, and also real view from the driver's seat can be seen not only by the drivers but also through internet by anybody. So actually, I made broadcast of this here in March, and the car was driven in my university down in Tokyo.
But the people here can see.
Yeah, and actually I can do it now, but still I have some difficulties to do so. But I can show some the drive recorders.
So now, not only the driver can see in front, the other people around the driver also can see what the driver see.
Right, exactly.
Like the center, monitoring center of the company can see
Yeah. So
not necessarily
depend
broadcast.
on the cases. Depend on the cases. And think about your son or daughter who is a beginner of the driving after just educated from the driving school. What I suggest the driving school is, why don't you driving school teachers observe, monitor the graduate from the schooling drivers for 1 year. We can give you very good suggestions how to drive. And also this morning I met the former mayor of the small city in Augusta area. He said that is very much important. Also the elderly, there are a lot of problems of elderly, old person driving. And I think you also have the old elderly person's crashes. And they don't like to throw away their licenses, even though government.
They want to drive.
They want to drive.
So you mean the elderly drive more faster?
Yeah. No. They are not conscious about their speed, and still problem is that they are, too confident. Because they have been driving 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
I never made a crash.
Yes.
Then they are too confident to make crashes. So I have some video, and probably I can show you somewhere. But probably you sensed already. Sorry, I took too long time.
First time for us to.
Actually, I would show you.
See the whole-
Thank you. Thank you.
Just now when you showed us, there is the app that we can download. She wants
Yeah. Just the,
Take the name. I think maybe.
So, Prof, that was really very good. So, what do you intend? What do you want to work with us? How do you want to work with us?
Okay, so
What is that?
this is the name of the app. So if you go to the App Store,
Speedometer, download it from App Store.
you should add O, right?
At all.
O after the speedometer. Speedometer. So what I want to do is to collaborate with Professor Ali and you people, and Professor Ali is now developing collaborative research on the sustainable schools in the rural area, and I joined meeting this morning. I said among sustainability there are a lot of discussions of environment and also the economy, but also probably we can add safety issue. And if
we I think there's one of the plans in the roadmap for not just the university plus the country as well, is actually smart city, smart village.
Yeah.
And this could be part of even the smart city, could even be part of a smart village, because you're making the city more smart, you're making the roads in the villages more smart, So I think it's definitely a good idea to work on.
But as you made question, our concept is very much simple. But once we started with this level of to use this level of the technologies, then you people who are very much professional in informatics will develop better system. Like as you said, when you have congestions, even though the speed limit might be legally 60 meters per hour, you have to better slow down the speed. And in that way, there will be a lot of different development of the system. So, But what is important is to have consensus in at least certain region, or say that, in this area, we never make mistakes, errors. And Shima-san said, we should develop this kind of system that is monitoring system applied to the schooling buses, right? And if we can say that with this monitoring system, school buses will never make crashes. Then we can contribute very well. So it depends, already we do have system, but we have to develop very simple application of monitoring, because monitoring system we need a few different softwares, but we can develop very easily the simple application, and then we can visit many places and say schools and say, why don't you do this? And you may help in that sense also, not only technological side, but also because we are not bigger. We may not be.
These are the things that needs to be put in the MOA. At the moment, the MOA, as I see it, it's not an MOA yet. It's still an MOU, So these are the kind of things. An MOA must have in the schedule the specific things that we're going to do. One of it, of course, projects, but they must be more specific, specific things. We can sit down and do this more specific.
Today we talk about this experimental 1 year experiment, this like rural area or sub-urban school in Malaysia somewhere. Even at that area, we thought about
And interesting is that I didn't mention this, but even when we do apply the system in rural area by internet, people can see what is going on in your area from the Kuala Lumpur, KL,
He
right?
said, for example, they were talking about this sustainable schooling, but now we are considering to bring like Oguri Sensei's ideas, like because he asked how do the students come to school. They said ride a bike and 2 or 3, even like
Oh yeah, the little babies would come along.
just 3,
Yeah.
like
No
just
safety at all.
primary school. So if they have this concept of like speed limit, what does it mean? Some kind of even the education process itself, and it can be monitored. Maybe it can also contribute to education.
No.
So already we thought about that the story project can be part of this in a way. Specific thing we can do.
Yeah, attachment of students. It is very important. You know?
And
I think
also,
in a way.
we apply this internet
The
system
number,
too.
you know, must be roughly how many students can be attached, that kind of thing. So we say attachments like, then we can measure again.
So here, we think what he's now is cooperating is he needs like visualization. He wants like interactive maps, like even the streets. If they are like this area is over speeding, you can just real time. You can go to that area to make control of the speed, for example. So this visualization and data processing, because we will have like a lot of data.
I'd like to emphasize the importance of Okinawa. Okinawa is island area, and when we make experiment in, say, in Tokyo or Chiba, there are many cars which comes out of the area. So people do not have some difficulty whether, and we have difficulty to tell all the people that we are now doing this experiment. But if you choose an island of say 10,000 people, close the area. All the people, all the cars can install the speed indicators, and eventually we might be able to install speed limiters on all the cars. So the closed area is important. But of course, that's just an experiment, right? And using this as a prototype, we can diffuse that kind of concept and practice to other areas.
Can do a proof of concept as well. POC, yeah?
Yeah, and also the interesting was the Ministry of Transportation people came
Ministry
to
of
listen. Ministry of Transportation.
Jabatan mengangkatan jalan. Road Transport Department.
They came to listen.
Did you guys see SPAD? SPAD dia apa?
SPAT is equivalent to agency. Mainly for public transport. And maintenance, road and
Because if you want SPAD, I know him very well, the head.
Oh, you know.
Of course I know Syed Hamid Abba. A good friend of mine. The number one.
Oh, is that so?
So if you want to watch the SPAD,
But for what? What is the thing that we want to go and see for?
Because
Mr.
Mr. Shima
これからこのようなプロジェクトで
want
なんか
many
考え
commercial
られるこれからどこのプロジェクトがどこの予算
We are looking for
検討がまだね、先に進んでないんですよ。
これから
で、これから一緒にやり、考えるために来たようなところがありますよ
Public
ね。
transport? Yeah, we can do that.
So I may mention this.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
still
please.
these ideas, just because we talked on a distance before we came here, with Yukawa, he came to my university and discussed about this. And we decided, since we will be here in Okinawa, yesterday we sat and discussed. In principle, we think we can do something together. for quoting his ideas and with big data processing, something like that. But from now, we will think about we will target some fund. Still, we are not sure, but we will consider
それがあれ
some.
ですかね。
Yeah.
これが出ない、スクリーンが出ない
Data, this is interesting as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
これをちょっと横に持っていく。
I mean, because now he wants to incorporate ICT with this concept because he believes it will work. So far, he had difficulty in
あ、OK。あ、
convincing.
そうかそうかそうか。
So still, we are not sure which we are looking for some projects, some funds, some grants to apply.
And actually, as I
Yeah, we
told
can-
you
we can
already,
also apply and
we applied
we
to
can
the
join.
very much huge, the research fund of SARTLEPS last year, and every year,
What fund is that?
SARTLEPS, S-A-T,
Oh, startups.
SARTLEPS, S-A-T-R-E-P-S. That's the Japanese government fund.
表示できるんです
そうです。ちょっと待ってください。その前に、これね、それが出てきたのでちょっとお見せして。But the ground was too big, too competitive. So the first primary experiment can be done with, say, not very small amount, but in Japanese yen, 500万、1000万だといくらですか
5 year 15 million.
No. That is the
Malaysian
surplus.
ringgit.
But
Yeah,
what is
surplus.
needed now is just 1000万円。
About around 500,000. So we are thinking to apply a middle class budget is about 500,000 ringgit per 3 to 5 years. And then our future plan to extend surplus in a few years.
I wanted to show you the speed monitoring system.
Something like this.
Yeah. It is not big amount of money.
This is
And
the name
actually,
of
the president of my,
SATREP, okay, SATREP.
This is $1 million, but
has been taken for granted for decades by the Democratic Party. It's time for rule by the people, not rule for the special interests. Hillary Clinton-backed policies are responsible for the problems in the inner cities today, and a vote for her is a vote for another generation of poverty, high crime, and lost opportunities.
With only 83 days until the election, Trump is digging in on his combative style in hopes of turning around his slide in the polls.
I am who I am. It's me. You have to be you. If you start pivoting, you're not being honest with people.
So the bottom line here, we could see less of the scripted teleprompter-assisted Donald Trump and more of the combative candidate whose primaries in the. Let's bring in CNN contributor Ryan Liza, forgive me, Ryan, Washington correspondent for The New Yorker. Thanks so much for being with us once again. What do you make of the shakeup?
Well, I really think that Trump was all of a sudden a disciplined teleprompter candidate holds. And so there are two explanations for why you would push aside Manafort. One, as Court pointed out, he's mired in the middle of some pretty significant scandals related to his time working for a decade in Ukrainian politics. Those have been on the front page of the newspapers here, on and off for weeks, to be honest. And the most recent is a big blockbuster about whether he received cash payments from the pro-Putin party in Ukraine. All right, so you might think Trump sees that and says, all right, this guy is plagued by scandal, I need to push him aside. That's how most normal candidates would respond. Most of the reporting, though, suggests that what he didn't like about Manafort was that Manafort was trying to control him in essence, make him more disciplined, make him a little bit more of a general election candidate. And even those attempts, just from what we've seen publicly, have not exactly been a smashing success. Trump is on his way, if current polls hold, to lose in the biggest loss since the Democratic loss in 1984 when Ronald Reagan had his landslide victory.
So what is the impact likely to be? Can he turn it around?
I don't know. I mean, hiring the guy who runs Breitbart, I mean, for international viewers who don't know what Breitbart is, it is a niche right-wing website that caters to a tiny sliver of American politics, and is successful in doing that because you can make a lot of money by just amping up that tiny segment on the right. But it's a sort of fanboy website for Trump supporters. It's frankly a website that has gotten rather dabbled with some of the worst elements on the fringe right in the last year, has been accused of all sorts of articles with anti-Semitism and racism, to be honest. And you would not hire someone like that unless you were sort of doubling down on your core supporters, on that white, aggrieved, right-wing base that Trump has done very well with. You would not hire someone from Breitbart unless you wanted someone with more expertise in that segment of American politics. As everyone knows, there are no more voters there for Trump. He's got them locked in. The political problem Trump has is he needs to add voters. He needs to expand beyond that core. So I don't really see this as doing that.
At the same time, he's done something again. He stepped on not only his own message, the points his campaign wanted to make to voters this week, he stepped on what would have been a difficult time for Hillary Clinton, because this week we saw the unusual spectacle of the months-long Justice Department investigation into her emails that ended with the Justice Department deciding that there was no point trying to bring charges. Well, the FBI notes are now in Congress's hands.
Yep.
That would ordinarily be something that we would be talking a whole lot more about. What does it mean and what are the implications of it?
You're absolutely right. I mean, this is an explosive story. The fact that the Democratic nominee was investigated by the FBI, that there was some debate within the administration about whether charges should be brought. Eventually, obviously, they weren't. That is a big, explosive story, and it would have played into the hands of any sort of normal, generic Republican nominee who would have tried to race a referendum on Hillary Clinton. And that's the way to win this race if you're a Republican. That's the way to beat Hillary Clinton. Is make it about her, make it about these scandals, and sort of prosecute a disciplined case against her. She has very high negatives. She is one of the more unpopular figures to be nominated by either party. Her great advantage is that her opponent is the most most unpopular person ever to be nominated by a party, and she is doing, without really trying, she is turning this into a referendum strictly on Donald Trump, who continues to dominate the news, and 9 out of 10 times not in a positive way. So you're right, Jonathan, if this were a normal year with a normal Republican candidate, a governor, a senator, I think that this would be a much, much closer race, and the vulnerabilities that Clinton has would be exploited. Trump can't seem to stay on a single line of attack or prosecute a case against her that speaks to voters that are on the fence about Hillary Clinton. Even when he does go after her, it's in a very exaggerated way that doesn't really, he'll say she should be thrown in jail rather than laying out a sort of rational case for what she did wrong on the email scandal.
Even with a new campaign team, that seems to be the issue to watch. Ryan, Lizza, thanks so much for this.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Other stories on our radar right now: Libyan troops claiming success in retaking territory from ISIS in the city of Sirte. A military official tells CNN ISIS fighters have been driven out of one of 3 areas they controlled. The officer says Libyan forces are now advancing on ISIS positions in other areas of the city. Russia dismissing any suggestion that flying its bombers out of Iran violates a UN Security Council resolution. The Russian military says those warplanes conducted successful airstrikes against ISIS in Syria for a second day. Washington takes a dim view of Russia operating out of Iran and has voiced its concerns to Moscow.
When it seems so clearly to be against us.
Now, after the killings in New York, we only have anecdotal evidence, and maybe you have more evidence, more information, but is it getting to be more dangerous in this country for Arab Americans?
I certainly think that we're seeing an uptick in hate crimes and harassment against Arab Americans and Muslim Americans. Our civil rights report that we released last year showed an alarming number of harassment incidents and hate incidents that we track very closely here at CAIR Oklahoma. And I definitely think that we've seen kind of that increase in anti-Muslim and anti-Arab harassment and threats.
Now, obviously, the political campaign is raising tensions on a lot of different levels, but when the campaign is over, what's going to happen, do you think? Is this just the new normal for Arab Americans, that they're being treated increasingly like outcasts and often at threat to their own safety?
Well, we would certainly hope not. One of the missions of CARE Oklahoma, just like other CARE chapters, is educating non-Muslims on the reality of Muslims in America and kind of dispelling some of those stereotypes and those fears. And we've been very fortunate here to enjoy a great relationship with our interfaith organizations and social justice community partners. So for every hateful tweet we get, for every hate call, all those threats on social media, we get dozens of supportive messages, of friendly comments, of people calling to say, I appreciate what you're doing, and we think that we love our Muslim neighbors, we love our Arab American friends and colleagues. So I think that there's a sense that we really can be working for positive change.
Wow. Veronica Leisure of CARE Oklahoma. Thanks so much for talking with us.
Absolutely.
You're watching Connect the World. Still to come, we'll meet a Kenyan athlete who learned his Olympic skills, get this, on YouTube. That story ahead.
Asia's cities are growing fast. The challenge, keeping up with the changes and preparing for what's next.
Innovation means adapting to the future.
From the rebirth of an aging overpass in Seoul to boosting the newest Japanese entrepreneurs and a digital replica of the entire city-state of Singapore, CNN shows you how the region is laying the groundwork for a livable future. Innovative Cities, Saturday on CNN.
Tea is very, very important in the part of the Japanese culture because the tea can connect the people. Japanese hospitality looks simple, but the way they create has its own meaning and own thoughts and own detail. That captured my heart.
Culinary Journeys, Thursday on CNN. Inside the world of horse racing on CNN's Winning Post.
We're in Germany looking at the resurgence of the sport of kings at Berlin's historic Hoppegarten racecourse.
Winning Post on CNN.
She had a natural curiosity that motivated her move from the familiar and called her to see the world. Along the way, she began to tell stories, whether those stories were far from her roots or close at heart, whether they made her smile or tested her strength. Storytelling is what took her there and got her here. Newsstream with Christy Lou Stout, weeknights on CNN.
Located on Morocco's Atlantic coast, Essaouira is a port city that is fast becoming one of North Africa's most popular tourist destinations. Othman Sheikh is an interior designer with a passion for food. His business combines his two loves. 15 months ago he opened a restaurant and filled it with his favorite objects. But running a business is not as simple as that. He says the biggest shock he faced came with the realization that he was in charge of other people.
I'm used to work alone. To work with other people, it was really hard. When I had the Chinese shop, I didn't have people work for me. I'm doing everything. So when you open and you have like 7 or 8 people work for you, it's different. Thanks to the chef. Thanks team.
He knows that if his restaurant is to succeed, he has to keep his customers happy.
I want them to feel home. They feel like, not in a restaurant, feel like with the family. So one thing I always say to customers, they say, I want to treat you like a grandma. And then, so this is the market, local market, when we get all our stuff, vegetable, meat, fish, and everything. So it's like you go through here, you smell chicken, you go to the other side, you smell fruits and vegetables.
Many restaurants in Essaouira now serve alcohol. That is not a path Ottoman plans to follow, even if it would result in greater profits.
For me, it's like I'm satisfied for what I made. And it was my decision from the beginning. I don't want to go back for it.
As people enjoy Essaouira's varied charms, it's time for Ottoman to get ready for the evening service. As customers drift in, he can be found front of house and in the kitchen.
In our seasons, actually, we do like 3 service a night. It's really good. It's like when you have a pleasure, when you have customers, and it's like you have money and you meet people. It's like it's such a good vibe.
The business plan seems to be based on giving people a good time, and it appears to be working. But Ottoman has no plans to rest on his laurels. He has ambitious plans to open a gallery space which will complement the restaurant. It may well be hard work, but he wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it. It's my work, what I want to do since I was a boy, to open a good place and people be compliment about it. Now I'm living the dream, yeah. And it's like this is the beginning. I have so much things I want to do.
There's something special about you, Tony. You have a gift.
I mean, I play for a team that don't even want me. Anybody like me?
You don't get that colored boy hurt. God wants you to be a superstar.
No such thing as a black superstar.
Broncos football is bigger football.
Can we do this? Yes, sir. Let's go do it! We are witnessing a start.
Woodlawn. Tune to channel 481 to purchase. All the Olympic Games are here. 12 channels, 24/7. Share in their glory. Rio 2016 Olympic Games on Astro.
World politics, today's issues, and all the breaking news. Wolf, Tuesday through Saturday, only on CNN. Business is always changing. Keep up with CNN Money. Maggie Lake is live in the heart of the world's economic epicenter, New York City, tracking all the action of the stock exchanges and the big business stories from around the world. Get top analysis of market movements and a daily breakdown of financial headlines. CNN Money with Maggie Lake, weeknights only on CNN.
You're watching CNN, and this is Connect the World. I'm Jonathan Mann. Welcome back. Now, admit it, you head to YouTube sometimes when you're bored, clicking your way through a seemingly endless stream of silly videos, cats playing the piano. But one Kenyan athlete used the site to help take himself all the way to the Olympic Games. For your parting shots, meet 27-year-old Julius Yego.
My name is Julius Yego. I am a javelin thrower from Kenya, the current world champion. I first discovered javelin through my brother, my older brother. It was not a popular sport, even in Kenya. I took it because I wanted to be a very different person. I wanted to be like the Andreas and the Theros we have in this world. I just go and type Andreas training using the YouTube. For sure, YouTube has played a big role in my success as a javelin thrower. I remember when I didn't have a coach, I really depend on watching YouTube videos. What I basically was watching was how to train as a javelin thrower, but not how to throw, because of course I knew how to throw, but not the basic of javelin training. So when I watched that, it really helped me. I improved a lot. What I love about the javelin, when you throw and then you hit it right, when it's flying in the sky, you feel so nice. You don't feel like it's coming down. It's just go, 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 go. Yeah. What drives me is to be successful in life. I want to be a legend, to leave a legacy.
Chiliciego. You can follow the stories that our team is working on all through the day by going to our Facebook page, facebook.com/CNN Connect. You'll find all kinds of things, including a tour of a World War II bunker in London, now being used as an underground farm. Have a look. I'm Jonathan Mann. You've been watching Connect the World. Thanks for joining us.
You've heard the Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians. Now meet the Green Party. Could Jill Stein and Ajamu Baraka be a fourth alternative for wary voters? Chris Cuomo hosts a live CNN Town Hall tomorrow on CNN. Mighty Ships, Thursday nights at 9:50 on Discovery Science.
Europe's greatest players have been summoned to lead their teams into battle. Because the biggest party of 2018 is only for winners. It's a staggering story. The 2018 FIFA World Cup European qualifiers. The road to glory begins here. Watch the games live on Astro Supersport.
I'm Isa Suarez in Greece, and this is CNN.
Ahead of the International Days, Donald Trump shakes up his campaign staff. A top North Korean diplomat defects to the south, and police in Rio have questions for 2 American swimmers. At the CNN Center. Thanks so much for joining me. And we begin with another campaign shake-up for Donald Trump. Time is running out, just 83 days to go until the election. And as Jessica Schneider now reports, Trump's newly minted leaders face poll numbers and a vow from their candidate to resist calls to change.
Donald Trump shaking up his campaign leadership team again for the second time in 2 months.
People want to criticize Donald Trump.
Senior advisor Kellyanne Conway confirming that she has been promoted to campaign manager, and the executive chairman of Breitbart News, Steve Bannon, is now the campaign's chief executive. The campaign's embattled chairman, Paul Manafort, will stay on despite his relationship with Trump going sour in recent weeks.
The campaign is doing really well. It's never been so well united.
Trump is very plugged in. He's very connected. The campaign's working contrary to what the media is saying.
Manafort is under investigation by Ukrainian authorities for allegedly receiving millions in illegal payments from the country's former pro-Russian ruling party. This is the second major shakeup for Trump's team. Back in June, he fired Corey Lewandowski weeks before the Republican convention.
He's a good man. We've had great success. He's a friend of mine. But I think it's time now for a different kind of a campaign.
Yeah, I had a nice conversation with Mr. Trump, and I said to him, it's been an honor and a privilege to be part of this.
The news comes as Trump tries to appeal to black voters in Wisconsin, but the audience was mostly white.
I'm asking for the vote of every African-American citizen struggling in our country today who wants a different and much better future.
Trump addressing the violent protests in Milwaukee after police shot and killed a black man Saturday.
Those peddling the narrative of cops as a racist force in our society, a narrative supported with a nod by my opponent, shared directly in the responsibility for the unrest in Milwaukee and many other places within our country.
He's placing the blame for inner city unrest squarely on what he calls failed democratic policies.
The African American community has been taken for granted for decades by the Democratic Party. It's time for rule by the people, not rule for the special interests. Hillary Clinton-backed policies are responsible for the problems in the inner cities today. And a vote for her is a vote for another generation of poverty, high crime, and lost opportunities.
With only 83 days until the election, Trump is digging in on his combative style in hopes of turning around his slide in the polls.
I am who I am. It's me. You have to be you. If you start pivoting, you're not being honest with people.
Well, that was Jessica Schneider reporting there. CNN political commentator, Republican consultant Margaret Hoover joins me now from New York. Hey there, Margaret. Thanks for joining us. You're a Republican. What does this shakeup tell you? What does it indicate about the state of this campaign?
Well, I'm a Republican who's worked on a presidential re-election campaign before and on another presidential effort. This kind of a 80 days out, change up everything is a sign of real distress. I mean, look, I am not a Trump supporter. I'm a Republican that believes in a different kind of Republican Party that can reach beyond its base and win national elections, which is not the model that I think we've seen in the Trump campaign. So I'm not the first to I'll be certainly objective, but not complimentary of the way Trump has done anything. And shaking up your campaign 80 days out is a sign of dire distress.
Also, what does it mean? What does it indicate about his relationship with the Republican Party and with donors? I mean, this back to basics Trump also, does it seem like a blatant refusal to become the candidate the party wants him to be?
Well, there's just no secret that he doesn't have a good relationship with the Republican Party, the senior elected officials in the Republican Party, or any of the Republican donor establishment. His fundraising has lagged notoriously behind. He doesn't have major fundraisers, bundlers, heavyweights in the Republican Party who are willing to call their friends and allies and network in order to help fund his campaign. And that's hurting all of the down ticket races as well. The United States Senate is up for grabs and likely will go to the Democrats if Trump loses by the kind of margins it's beginning to become clear may materialize. This is a campaign in dire distress. There are jokes sort of in the internet that there's an acknowledgement that the Trump campaign knows they're going to lose and they've moved into the hospice phase, which is where you surround yourself with your friends and family. And Breitbart News is an organization that is not a news organization, but has been incredibly complimentary and laudatory of Trump throughout his campaign process. They've really sort of been a spokes outlet or spokespeople for Donald Trump. And so to surround himself, I think, with people who are most complimentary of his style is sort of the joke and the criticism from the right now towards Donald Trump.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, this veneer of some sort of nicey relationship between the party and their candidate might really be peeled back even more in the coming days. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, but also let's turn to the voters because they're the ones that count. Does this also mean a complete turn back to his core voters, not the persuadable swing voters? And as you were saying, what does this mean for the Republican Party trying to reach out to minorities?
Well, Trump gave a speech yesterday in Wisconsin, and he talked about the need for the Republican Party to reach out to African Americans, which is, frankly, a message I fully support. I mean, the Republican Party, Donald Trump cannot win this election if he doesn't do better than Mitt Romney did with African American voters, which was less than 10%. You simply have to build a diverse coalition in American politics in order to win. And it doesn't mean he has to win the majority of African American voters, but he needs to make good inroads. 20% would be fantastic, frankly.
Well, at the moment, I mean, I think he has less than 1% support among African voters.
That's right, and there are problems. You can't just give a speech to an all-white audience in a part of the country that only has 1% African American voters, and then speak obtusely, sort of suggesting, and what he said directly is that African American poverty is because of Hillary Clinton and the policies she supported. You've got to do more than just oblique and sort of obtuse references to your opponent. You have to make a credible case that you're going to be better. Again, it's a step in the right direction. It's only a first step, but there's got to be more than just rhetoric. There's got to be, frankly, the NAACP has invited him to speak, and he hasn't done it. There are many venues and forums that would suggest real authenticity and sincerity behind the rhetoric that frankly, many Republicans would welcome, even if we don't support Donald Trump.
Yeah, we talk about timing. I mean, 3 months to the elections, but early voting is, the next few weeks, and that is also a huge deadline looming. Margaret Hoover, thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate being on.
Well, it is really a big day at the Olympic Games with a lot of action going on, but an investigation is casting a shadow over the competition. Just hours ago, police in Rio trudged into the Olympic Village looking for 2 American swimmers. A judge is investigating a claim they were robbed at gunpoint. Let's talk about this with Nick Payton-Walsh and Amanda Davis, who are both in Rio. Nick, to you first. So, what's going on here? Are Rio authorities questioning the US swimmers' version of events?
They're asking a lot of questions about it, and this is an extraordinary move by a Rio judge to ask for search and seizure warrants for Ryan Lochte and James Fegan, 2 of the 4 swimmers who said they were robbed in the early hours of Sunday morning. Now, they want their passports, which could have potentially meant they couldn't leave the country. Mr. Lochte just actually got an email from his lawyer, is back in the United States, left as planned. He says he cooperated with anybody who asked him any questions after the robbery and would give further assistance if he'd been asked, but he hasn't been asked. The question is really being asked now, what happened in the early hours of that morning? Now, the original story from Mr. Lochte was they left the nightclub in the early hours. They were held at gunpoint by men dressed as police, had some valuables taken off them, and then left. But slowly people have begun to ask questions about that because the men admitted themselves, well, we left with our cell phones. That's odd, some Brazilians have thought, because they're often the main target of such armed robberies. And then there's been a CCTV video emerging in the media early this morning, which seems to show them arriving fairly relaxed back at the Olympic Village, still with a lot of high-value items on their person, which you'd think an armed robber would be after. Now we have this extraordinary move from the Rio court, which says it was prompted by inconsistencies in the statements of Mr. Lochte and Mr. Fegan. Now, they both talked to police, as Mr. Lochte's lawyer has confirmed to us, and it appears that the judge's suspicions were aroused by the fact they didn't seem to agree how many of the robbers were armed, whether they were taken by surprise or not. There's a lot of politics involved here, because it's been one of the most high-profile robberies, frankly, here at all. So some may argue Brazilian officials are keen to cast doubt on the story because they don't want the idea of people in uniform here not actually being trustworthy, that maybe it's possible to think your existence as an armed policeman and rob somebody. At the same time, too, there are Brazilian doubts about how they managed to escape from this with so many valuables, it seems, on their person. No suggestion at this stage anyone's done anything wrong, but questions still being asked to clarify this version of events, and now it appears Brazilian magistrates taking steps to try and get that kind of evidence. We're hearing from a police spokesperson, this isn't something that happens on a routine procedure, it is because of what they think may be missing bits of evidence or information. I should say again though, Mr. Lochte's lawyer, very clear, he's cooperated whenever asked. Robert.
Okay, thanks so much for unpacking all of that. Fascinating. Thanks so much, Nick Payton-Walsh there in Rio. Let's stick with Rio and the sports, though. Amanda Davis, to you. Interestingly, also, all eyes today have been on the 800-meter women's heat, and that's not even a final.
No, exactly. It's very rare that there's so much focus on the early morning sessions of the athletics. As you said, generally the heats, the early stages of the events. But this morning, Caster Semenya of South Africa, the silver medalist at London 2012 in the 800 meters, has been in action for the first time. So much debate surrounding her participation at this Games because the 25-year-old has a condition known as hypoandrogenism, which means that she has higher than normal levels of testosterone in her body for a woman. You may remember that just a few years ago she was actually banned from competing. Then she was ordered by athletics governing body to take some extra hormones to try and negate the impact of the testosterone. And then last year, dramatically, the Court of Arbitration for Sport ruled that there is just not enough